Welcome back to Las Vegas, Big Ten Media Days. Jeremy Werner here with Big Ten Network analyst Jake Butt, tight end great from Michigan. And Jake, it's interesting. Illinois has kind of got some buzz going into this year, obviously coming off a 10-win season. We did feel this 2 years ago, coming off their 8-win season. That was kind of a breakthrough. What gives you confidence in this Illinois team, or what do you think of this program right now?
I mean, expectations are definitely a double-edged sword, right? I'm sure Illinois, everyone's excited, but I think Brett said he's like trying to make sure the guys are not reading their own press clippings. And what gives me confidence is this is a veteran team. It's part of the reason everybody's so high on them, on Illinois, is you have 16 returning starters that understand really what they have as well. And I think to have a special season, when Michigan won their national title, sure, you have to have a baseline talent. Illinois has that, but then you kind of got to get a little lucky. Yeah. And you got to your roster has to be veteran at the right time. Maybe you get a favorable schedule that stacks up well. Staying healthy is a big key. Illinois, one-score games are going to decide Illinois' season in the conference as a whole. 5-1 last year in one-score games. That's going to be critical. But again, I go back to the foundation of having a veteran team. Altmaier should be in the conversation for best quarterback in the conference. He's taken those strides, and I think seeing Coach Lunny Jr., Barry Lunny Jr., he seems to have grown and adapted alongside Altmaier. So that's key. Coordinator continuity, Aaron Henry's back. Brett Bielema was a phenomenal coach. So, man, there's a ton of reasons to be high on Illinois. That game against Indiana, though, I mean, that is a playoff game in September. Illinois against Indiana.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, I'm praying I somehow get that game. I would love that game. So
you mentioned coordinator continuity. I've been hammering that home. To have Barry Lunny's now the longest tenured OC in the Big Ten at 4 years.
That is crazy.
4 years.
Holy cow.
Aaron Henry in a third year. Not many defensive coordinators in the Big Ten have that. What is, as a player, what is the value of that, of having not only head coach continuity, but coordinators staying?
So, every time you learn a playbook, and now they do them on iPads, but it used to be, even my freshman year, was, they print off physical copies of plays, and it's a dictionary of a language that you're trying to learn, and that's how you communicate. So when you're introducing a new coordinator, you're introducing a new language, which means you spend January through August before the season going wide. You're learning, what does this word mean? What does this word mean if the defense does this? But when you've already installed a system, and again, the veteran team, these guys have been in this system alongside their coordinators, now you can go deep. We don't need to coach you on what the words mean. You already know what that means. So now let's have some fun with it. It can be a fluid conversation back and forth, coach to player and player back to coach. And that all of a sudden puts you in the driver's seat of your season. Rather than being reactionary, you understand the verbiage and you can go on an attack mode.
Illinois, the offense, what stands out to you about what Barry Lunny does? I'll talk about the targets that Luke Altmaier's got to develop here because he lost two good ones to the NFL. But what stands out to you about their approach offensively?
I feel like each year you've seen a new layer get added. And when Brett went out and got Coach Lunny Jr., I think he made the comment that he has a high school background, right? And I think that being able to teach is key, because then players can play fast. I felt early in the career, Illinois, everything happened within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. The offense was condensed. And then last year you see, and really as he's grown, it seems like Illinois has started to be able to stretch defenses vertically, with Pat Bryant last year especially, and having an alpha dog at wide receiver 1 is key. I think the next step for him, though, and this is the value of having returned 5 starters across the offensive line, I thought the run game left something to be desired at times.
For sure.
So that's the next step. And when I think of a Brett Bielema-led team, it starts with the trenches. So you have the experience now. You have the body sizes. There's a couple NFL players there up in the trenches. That's the next step, is to play that physical brand of football, because that's also going to help Luke Altmaier and the offense as a whole.
At this time last year, we didn't know Pat Bryant would be the alpha he became. He obviously stepped into that role, had a lot of experience. What is that process like? You played at a high level. just as a receiver? Like, what is that step? How does that grow? How does Luke Altmaier get that out of some talented players, but some players who haven't gone to that level yet?
Well, it's Altmaier, it's Lunny, it's Brett, and it's on the player to take advantage of the opportunities. For me, my first 2 years at Michigan, I had success as a young tight end, but I was having like 20 catches my freshman year, 20 catches my sophomore year. And then when Jim Harbaugh came in with Jed Fish, our play caller, and Jake Rudock, it started with the chemistry. The quarterback's going to give you opportunities. What do you do with those? You make plays. Then that's how trust gets built. And all of a sudden, the offensive coordinator who wants to win and succeed says, hey, when we target this guy, good things happen. Let's continue to target him. And it just is a slow built process that grows over time. And that's going to be the challenge this year, bringing in some new guys from the portal, introducing some guys that got some playing time last year but are stepping into bigger roles. It seems like Illinois is excited about these receivers, though, but Pat Bryant really, he did some special things in big-time moments, too. Talk about the one-score games. He played a big factor in winning those games.
Illinois has been looking for a dynamic tight end. Tanner Arkin's a heck of a blocker. Tip Ryman was a heck of a blocker. Guys,
Tip Ryman was an unbelievable athlete, too. What did he run in the...
It was like a 4.54 or something.
What the heck? Oh, my gosh.
Where'd that come
Sorry,
from?
guys.
No, but they've had those guys, but they're still looking for a dynamic tight end. They had Cole Russ come in last year, suffered an injury at the beginning of the training camp. He's coming back. They've added some other transfers from the lower level. What can a dynamic pass-catching tight end, even if it's 30 catches in a season, what can that do for an offense like Illinois that hasn't had that?
Yeah, so there's a few things. One is if you are able to establish throwing, this is an RPO system, play action would be a piece of that. You want to put defenses in a bind and in a conflict. So as a tight end, the guys that are going to guard me are going to be the linebackers and the safeties. Well, a good linebacker's first responsibility should be to stop the run. So if I'm a good tight end, I need to be your first responsibility. But inherently, it isn't, because they have to respect the run and play action. So I already have a leg up, and the same is true for safeties. So you can really take advantage of that split second that you're in attack mode while they're respecting the play action. And the other thing is if you have great receivers, I think, who's the Ohio State tight end? He came from Purdue.
Max Clare.
Max Clare.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a great example because Ohio State has Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. Defenses are going to have to play split safety. They're going to have to play middle field open. Those safeties are going to have to be over top the corners to effectively double team receivers on the outside. Well, a good tight end, now all of a sudden you have the middle of the field wide open with a linebacker running on you. You have got to be able to take advantage of it. So, could Hudson Clement have that type of season where he gets that respect, where safeties, they have to do cloud coverage or split safety? Then you're going to need someone, maybe it's a slot receiver as well. There's other ways to do it. Can start to take advantage of that open middle of the field.
What do you think of Illinois' path? I mean, they avoid some of the best programs outside of Ohio State, and the end of the schedule, it really has some advantageous opportunities late, but they go down the road to Duke early. They go on the road to Indiana, as you mentioned. They get USC at home, Ohio State at home. What do you think of their path, and how do they handle it?
I think those home games, again, like you get a little bit lucky, right? Is it Indiana and then USC back to back, right? Okay, and that's not a long road trip to Indiana either. So then USC has to come out, Ohio State at home, and look, Ohio State's. They have two new coordinators. Their defensive line is completely brand new. I know they have talent out there, but that's a winnable game with the roster that Illinois has this year. We're going to find out everything about this team by mid-October. Duke is dangerous as well. That football program has taken major strides. But again, I go back to coordinator continuity helps you with this. Veteran team helps you with this. Veteran quarterback helps you with this. To be able to hit the ground running. It's not like these guys are feeling out college football. You're coming off a strong finish to last season. Can you pick up where you left off? Then you can spend that month of September finding new heights as a team, and they'll have to. You get to 10-2, you're in the playoffs, right? You get to 10-2 and you're in the playoffs, and that should be the goal.
Defense coordinator Aaron Henry kind of came into last year with big questions. After his first year, they struggled, obviously lost a lot of talent to the NFL. It was a big step up. What stands out to you about Illinois' defense and how they do things? Because they ran a little bit more zone last year than man when they had Devin Witherspoon and all those guys. But anything stand out to you about the defensive approach?
Well, and we talked to Coach Henry, and he he pointed that out, that the foundation of this defense, when you guys had the number one defense in college football, it was a unique scheme. It's the 5-man front, but is it a 5-2 or is it 3-4? Never wanted to label it. You play a ton of press man on the outside, and it felt like the defense was really dependent on having disruptive interior defensive linemen, because though there was good corners and good safeties, you don't want them playing press man for 4 or 5 seconds. You're saying, play press man and let's get our defensive line in the backfield. Teams were able to take advantage of that early in Aaron Henry, and then he adapted a little bit. And now you return a ton of guys, and Xavier Scott reminds me of a Mikey Sanderstill of Michigan, in the sense of like just a leader, a heartbeat, a playmaker. He's good at blitzing. He's a guy who always seems to be in the right place, the right time, makes key plays in key moments. So they have the pieces now, and they have a coach with the experience now that has expanded his Rolodex of play calling, where, hey, this should be one of the better defenses in the conference and in the country. And again, if it is, you're 10-2, maybe even 11-1, and you're going into the postseason.
Last one I got for you. There's a lot of Bears fans in Illinois territory. What are they getting in Colston Loveland?
Oh man, I know Tyler Warren won the Mackey last year, and there was a lot of excitement about that. And he's a phenomenal tight end, Tyler Warren is. But Colston Loveland is just a different prospect. They're getting a receiver effectively. When you watch his routes, to be 6'5", 245 pounds, he's able to be running full speed and stop on a dime, one leg, and change direction. He has that Travis Kelce to his game, where some guys it's the art of separation. On a play sheet, when I'm running the corner, it says 10 yards vertical and break at a 45-degree angle to the outside. But sometimes if it's in man-to-man, I'm going to turn that into a 10-yard out route. If there's a underneath corner, cover 2 corner, I might take my angle high. A lot of guys can't grasp the fluidity to the playbook, but Colston, he grasped it right away. He almost plays the game like a quarterback. So I think he's going to have 80 catches a year for the next decade. And Ben Johnson, you saw what they did with Sam Laporta. Like that's the track he'll be on.
Well, and what really impressed me with him, even at Illinois, when obviously Michigan didn't get good quarterback play, didn't have a lot of receivers. All the attention was on him, and he was still productive.
Yeah.
He still found a way to be productive.
And that was the key. Is like he lost some of the hype because he got injured late in the season, and Michigan didn't have a quarterback and they didn't have an offense. But when you look back at Sam Laporta, the year he got drafted before the Lions, it was the same thing. Iowa had no quarterback and no receivers. He lined up everywhere. Copy and paste, that's what Colston did last year. So,
Jake Butt, thank you.
I think Coach Bielema has a chance to be Coach of the Year this year.
Really?
Right? I mean, seriously, right?
What stands out to you about him?
Well, he recruited me. I was talking to him initially back when he was at Wisconsin. He's just such an approachable guy, and that mattered a ton back before we could pay players in NIL, but now everybody's able to pay. So what can I trust you with my future? And I would send my kids to play, and I don't even have kids yet. I just got married last year, but I would send my kids to play for Coach Bielema in a freaking heartbeat. It seems like the players absolutely love him. He speaks and breathes life into his roster, and I totally think that matters. So I'm rooting for him, man. I would love to see this be a special season.
When I told you beforehand, Illinois needed a guy like him, right?
Yeah.
They needed a guy who could bring some swagger.
Yeah.
Obviously, all the coaching, the development, organization, but his personality is something that Illinois needed.
Yeah, absolutely. That 100-year game last year against Michigan. Did you see the intro that CBS
Unbelievable.
did too?
I talked with Gary Danielson about it.
Unbelievable. I mean, it was so. They're here to stay. And there's another thing, too, where momentum matters. This is a big year for USC because Lincoln Riley, they've struggled a little bit. I think they have the #1 recruiting class in college football right now. Boy, do you want to capitalize on that to build going forward. The same is true for Illinois. You got people's attention last year. If you can do it again twice, then it becomes sticky in the minds of recruits and transfer portal guys. If I'm a quarterback, why wouldn't I want to play in the system? Look at what they did for Tommy DeVito. Look what they did for Luke Altmaier. So a lot of positive things for Bielema and Illinois going forward.
Jake Butt, thanks for your time, man.
Pleasure. Yep, good to see you.